Hello everyone. Today I'm going to give you a short overview of a very hot technology called SASE. Uh, it stands for Secure Access Service Edge. And this is a short session. But before I start on telling you what SASE is, we have to understand how network and network security have evolved over the last few decades. So initially when the cybersecurity industry started, the idea was to protect the assets that businesses use, so IT assets. Okay, so for example, if consider a shoe that you like, and that company wants to come up with a online website to sell those shoes. Okay, also there could be some requirements of managing the payroll, making it easy for employees to share internal information. So there could be need of multiple business applications which could be meant for either employees or your customers. Now, these businesses, when they build these applications, they would either build them in-house or they will hire some developers or give it to another company that is good at doing application development. Once the applications are ready, they are typically hosted on a server, and that server could be physically present in your data center. That was a traditional model. Okay, now the businesses never wanted these services to be exposed directly over the internet, because somebody could hack and get information to internal employee information, customer information, and this could lead to brand reputation issues or some fines because of compliance reasons. Anyways, so what businesses did is they started building or asking for cybersecurity controls, and one of the most basic control that was deployed was enterprise firewalls. Now, what enterprise firewalls do is they constantly inspect the traffic that is going in and out of your infrastructure or network. Let's say in case of that shoe company, this device would monitor the entire outgoing communication to internet. So what employees are browsing while they are in the office, etc. Most basic sense. And they would have various features. These firewalls would have various features, so that will either help them to detect more threats, block more threats, okay, control the applications that the employees are accessing, websites that the employees are accessing. Okay, also in case the data is encrypted or the communication is encrypted, they wanted a capability of SSL decryption. So all the modern enterprise firewalls come with these features, and any business that has an online presence typically takes firewall as the most basic control in their infrastructure. Okay, and that is how the enterprise cybersecurity business started in a nutshell, right? And also, what would happen is, typically before COVID, it was very common that people would typically sit in the office in most companies, and they would access internet applications or applications that are over internet. Things like Office or their email applications, and then they would be accessing applications that are hosted in a server sitting in the headquarters. Okay, and these applications will be hosted by access also by multiple locations. So going back to the same shoe business example, there would be multiple factories, and these factories would be uploading, let's say, daily manufacturing data of shoes to this application that is hosted in the main headquarters, and each manufacturing facility will do that, and then there would be small headquarters in every region in the world, and they would upload some data based on their needs, right? So there was dedicated network also, call it MPLS lines, and essentially they allowed connectivity between headquarters and multiple sites and within sites itself. So this was called as hub and spoke architecture. So whatever traffic is being accessed, the data center is acting as a hub, and it has spoke. So all these connections are going back to data center, and then everybody is accessing the application. So whether I'm sitting in a Delhi office or I'm sitting in a New York office, my connection would typically go to the main headquarters, wherever it is, and then it will go to the internet application or the application which is hosted by my business. Okay. Now, as IT evolved, a lot of issues came, different type of security issues started coming, so there were different technologies that were created. One of them was network admissions control, which allowed restricting what kind of systems can connect to the company's network internally. IPS, which would track or block attacks that are of known nature. Sandboxing, which allowed execution of the incoming attachments typically in a simulated environment and block them if they were bad. For example, somebody sending a PDF, and if that PDF has a malicious software or malware, this sandboxing technology will block it. DDoS will allow blocking distributed denial of service attacks either on applications or network side, and then DLP, data loss prevention, which allowed loss of known confidential data to outside world. Web application firewalls typically deployed with web applications to block malicious traffic that is coming to the website that the business is hosting. Okay, and then VPN as a technology was used to get remote access. So, for example, in my kind of role where I typically don't go to office, I have a lot mostly field presence, so I can typically connect using a VPN to my office and access anything that is hosted in the company headquarters. Also, endpoint security or endpoint protection platform, call it antivirus, whatever you want to call it, but essentially known bad software prevention on my endpoint, right? So all these technologies started coming to solve specific problems as IT was growing. Okay, and then secure web gateways came, which were a platform to look into web traffic specifically. So they would allow or deny URLs or websites that you were accessing as an employee of the company. They would look into the specific action done on that URL. They would have malware detection capability. They will have a database capability which will maintain a list of known good and known bad domains and take a decision to block or allow. Okay, and they would have integrations with other technologies to look at specific things like DLP. So, example, if I'm uploading a document tagged as confidential to Google Drive, the secure web gateway will typically block me. Most basic use case. And then came CASB. CASB was all about specific features on the application side. Okay, so they would also have some DLP features, and they would have a user-centric view and application-centric view, and they would look at what all applications are getting accessed. Okay, who's accessing them, what is the risk involved, is this application known good application, known bad application, what can you do on that application, is it compliant based on regulations that are applicable. And they would have a general data and user related monitoring policy enforcement capabilities. Okay, so some of you might think that these are overlapping capabilities, and that happened, right? So a lot of these security technologies that were created in silos, they had some overlapping functionalities. Okay, and then also on the network side, in few decades, network has significantly evolved. I remember when I was in college, I used to use dial-up. Okay, not everyone was lucky to have lines dedicated to internet, and in past few years, the advent of LTE, 4G, 5G has been humongous, and stability and speed of the internet has drastically improved. I get a 500 MB connection at my home, which was not possible until 5 years back. Okay, and then technologies evolved like SD-WAN that allowed the businesses to use any of these network types and manage them from a central console to improve the user application experience when the users are accessing applications. So what I'm trying to say is here is over decades, both security and network have evolved. Okay, all technologies typically start to address a particular problem, and then when the industry matures, the use case matures, there is a convergence that happens. Okay, that's quite common in the industry. Now, SASE is one such thing. So in SASE, the network and the security both are getting converged, and they are available as a service. Now, remember when I was talking about specific problems, the enterprise started hosting the applications in the data centers, right? And then these data centers were, instead of their hosting these applications in-house, these applications were hosted on third-party data centers, or call them cloud service providers, okay? Like Amazon's, Google's, Microsoft, and whatnot, right? All these companies were providing services, making it easy for companies not to host the infrastructure. You just pay for what you're using, and then you can run your website or any other application there. And also SaaS applications started coming, which means you don't have to build everything. A lot of it is already available as as a product by specific companies for a specific issue, right? So there are applications for maintaining your sales pipeline, applications for handling your HR specific stuff, managing your payroll and whatnot, right? Now SASE, what it does is provides security and network as a service. What that means is all the features that you're looking for from network side or on the security side are typically available on cloud as a service. And what you have to do is you just have to point your users traffic or your branch traffic, depending on what you want to secure or connect, to the cloud managed service. Now, if I have to talk specifically on the network side, so things like WAN optimization, networking capabilities, your user experience monitoring, quality of service on the network side, all that is controlled using controllers, software or hardware, which is right either in your branch, okay, or your other sites, okay, and they in the backend connect to multiple links, and they decide the best path depending on the policy that you have configured in the cloud console. For example, you might say that this collaboration tool like Zoom or Microsoft Teams, etc., gets the best bandwidth or best experience for end user because this is the most used applications in my infrastructure. Or you can say that because I'm a shoe manufacturer, I want my POS, on-site sales stores to have the best possible bandwidth and best possible experience available. And once you push that rule, the policy goes into the sensors, and the sensors accordingly decide the best path to find connection to the application for these POS terminals or on-site sales terminals. Okay. On the security side, also called as Security Services Edge, all the capabilities from cybersecurity, which is traffic inspection, traffic enforcement, CASB, secure web gateway, remote access for VPN, web application security, DNS security, and others from threat detection and prevention perspective, also DLP, all that is available as a service. So when I am sitting at home, my system would automate, if I'm accessing an internet-based application, my agent on my system will typically decide if that system should send the traffic to the application in the data center or on the cloud. Okay, so the agent makes that decision based on the application, based on the policy that is set. What that means is I don't, as a business, I don't have to get my entire end user traffic to my data center, because let's say I'm sitting in Delhi and my headquarters is in New York. Okay, the traffic will go to New York even when the application that I'm accessing is in Delhi. Okay, so let's say I'm looking at timesofindia.com, which is a Delhi-based organization, and I'm looking at their website. I don't have my browser doesn't have to go to New York and then get inspected and then come to Delhi, right? I should directly go to it while the security inspection happens locally through the technology. Okay, so that's what SASE is. SASE is network and security available as a service, a cloud managed service in a single platform. Now this technology is getting evolved. You'll hear a lot of things about it. You can compare different capabilities from various providers and then make a decision. What I see personally is, and that's my view also, is convergence of all these technologies. Okay, and because businesses want to focus on their core business. For example, the shoe manufacturing company wants to make more shoes, make beautiful shoes that they can sell. They don't want to typically get into the business of managing IT, okay, and manage how many firewalls they have or how many DLP devices that they have and all that. They just want to be able to manage the policy and then just enforce that policies. Okay, so what I feel will happen in few years is people will stop tracking inventory. So I know companies that have thousands and thousands of firewall devices because they are large companies, and they are present everywhere in the world. They have offices everywhere in the world, so they have to monitor security, enforce security everywhere. So they could have thousands of products. In fact, in one of the surveys that I ran a few years back, it was stated that any general company would have around 15 to 20 cybersecurity tools or products available in the company. Now imagine you have a team of people who are just tracking, managing all that infrastructure. But with SASE, what they can do is they don't have to focus on infrastructure, they just have to focus on policies. And policies are controlled on cloud. You don't have to track where the policy is getting implemented at every time, and if you need to change hardware because your users are increasing and all that, right? So there are a lot of things that SASE solves. So yeah, that was an overview of SASE. Let me know if you have any questions. I'll be happy to do another session on SASE. Thank you. I'll see you next time.